Today we're going to be drawing a daisy. So this picture has several daisies in it. I'm just going to draw this one today, but you are welcome to draw all of them if you like. So we're going to start with the main shapes we see, and the main shape I see, and I think that you probably see too, is the circle in the center. So I'm going to start with a circle, and depending on how big I make this circle is how big my daisy will be. So mine is a little bigger than that one, so my daisy will probably end up being bigger. So I sketch that out lightly so that it's easy to erase. And now let's look at the petals. There are different kinds of daisies. This one has a lot of petals. So I see the petals are long and thin ovals. Do you see that? And if we want to know exactly how long to make them, we can measure the center of our daisy from the tip of the pencil to where my thumb is, and the petal is about as long. So I'm going to mark that. That's how wide my center is. So the daisy one petal would be about that long. So if I was drawing this daisy, I probably wouldn't draw it petal for petal, but I would use it as a reference to know what daisies look like. So if I don't have the exact same number of petals, I'm not going to worry about it. I just want this flower picture to help me to know what daisies look like. I think my petals look a little small. What do you think? That's how big? I don't know. Maybe they should. So sometimes you may have to check again. To me, that petal looks a little small, but that's what it's measuring at. It seems like a petal is as long as this is wide. Some will be longer. But so let's pay attention now how these petals are formed. So there's this front row, and there's sometimes space between them, or sometimes they touch. So either way is okay. They might touch, there might be some space between them. So I'm going to just start drawing some petals around. They seem a little short to me, but maybe that's me. So, these have some space between them. Maybe I'll make these two touch. And I'm just going to go all around my flower that way. Look, I'm just hopping around where I want to put these petals. After I draw them on here, we'll see if I got it right about how many there should be. I'm not counting them. I'm just drawing them. And so you want them to go around like a sun, like if we were drawing a sun, like this. You want your petals to go around like that. So as you draw, if it's easier to turn the paper, go ahead and turn it. See, this one looks a little bit off because I think it's easier for me if I turn the paper. Otherwise, they may be too much to the side, I think. So I have some touch, some don't touch. I think most of mine probably don't touch. But I'm going to keep turning the paper. It's just an easier way for me to draw. I have room for one more. Stick one more petal in there. Okay, let me count how many petals I have, just to see. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of hard to tell which ones are in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think this one has more. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's okay because, like I said, it's not exact. But also, what I do want to note with mine, some of my petals on this side are quite short, and over here they're long. It's okay to have some longer and some shorter, but we want to keep them fairly consistent. Okay, now this daisy has another layer of petals behind it, and these can fill in the gaps for me. So I might put a petal in here, and to make it go behind, these are the ones in front. To make it go behind, it goes up and out as far as it can, and when it touches, it just disappears. So like this one, if it's behind, I have all this space, but when it touches the next petal, then it disappears. I'm going to go ahead and draw these petals on again. If I want to put one behind these two are fairly close. If I want to put a petal behind here, I'm going to go up and back and then stop. As soon as it touches these other petals, it needs to stop. So maybe I want one to go right here, and then it stops there. I think I need a petal between these two. I'm making these a little longer just because I think they match the other side better. If I put a petal in between these two, as soon as it hits the other petals, it stops. I'm going to bring that one. And so we are not following this reference picture as closely as we have other reference pictures, but that's okay because we are learning the structure of this daisy and how to make these petals that are behind. So sometimes the reference picture, it is just to give you an idea. This one we are not following. It just gave us ideas. Look, so I made this one go up and it went down to there and then it stopped. There was a definite hole there I wanted to fill. So this picture is giving me ideas. I'm not using it as an exact reference. And a lot of times that is the best kind of reference. It's helping me learn the shape of this daisy. As I look at my daisy, this center looks a little bit lopsided to me. But you know what? We know that we can fix that as we go along, right? So do you notice there's one other thing I noticed with my daisy? As I'm looking at this, the ends of these petals are all round, aren't they? And look, mine are all pointed, or a lot of them are pointed. So that's where this reference is very handy, because these daisy petals should be round and soft looking and not so pointed. So I'll want to go back over these ends of my petals. I think I stick one more in there and round them up. I just made very pointed petals. Round those. Because if I ever wanted to draw a whole bouquet of daisies, I would want them all to have these rounded petals. So I do have to go back through and round those up. Hopefully your daisy's doing a little better than mine today. But that's okay. So looking at the center, it has all these little round parts, and we can do that. There's a couple ways you could do that. You could just swirl around your pencil like this. In the center, you could draw little round circles in the center. I'm just going to swirl my pencil for the center. It actually is usually, sometimes it's a little darker on the edge. And maybe that's too dark. Maybe suddenly no, I don't mind that because I do want my center to be darker than my petals because my petals are white. Let me go on like this again. So I got rid of that harsh line for the center circle and just made it. I just made the little curly line for the center. So what I would say about my daisy is in drawing these lines very dark, it gives it a dark appearance. If I were to do it again today, I would draw these lighter. I would make my petals much lighter because by drawing them lighter like that and not so heavy, it gives them a lighter appearance, doesn't it? See how those look white? These look very heavy. Maybe that could be another kind of flower. There's a lot of daisy looking flowers that are different colors, but if I wanted the petals to appear white and light and fragile like a daisy is, I would do my pencil marks much lighter if I were to do this again. And the round the petals off. Mine look way too pointed. But that's why we draw and that's why we practice. And just to show you, I just drew this daisy and I am not very happy with it. But that's okay because it was practice. And in the process, I learned a lot about the structure of a daisy. So another thing is the back petals, the petals in the back, I think should probably be a little longer than the ones in the front. It looks like they come out a little farther. Some of them do. And that's probably because the petals in the front are probably leaning more toward the center. They're probably not longer. They're probably just leaning more toward the center with the front ones than the back ones. But I would do this daisy again. And you know what? I might just do it again this afternoon. But this is why we draw, and this is why we practice. And we practice seeing, and we practice drawing, and we just try different things to get the effect we want. And I would want a much lighter effect on my daisies, so I would draw lighter with lighter strokes, I think. I hope you have fun with this daisy, and I'll see you next time.